All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, love, and salutations to the Akim that's out there laboring, that's out there hope for elect, that's doing this work in truth and sincerity, and pretty much as we press on to the mark, pretty much doing this work and Lord willing, being exempt, from the said judgment that is going to be rendered to this place. We're seeing how, when you look at the geopolitical landscape in that we're dealing with, we're starting to see, the grip being tightened up. Executive orders are being pretty much signed for future events, and pretty much, this devil's pretty much pretty much laying down the bricks, so to speak, for his platform, and ultimately to bring in his ultimate agenda, that has been planned from long ago. This is all, have been really, prophesied in the scriptures. But you have a rising up of Jakes, pretty much, pretty much the 2/3, that are pretty much enemies of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, enemies of the church, and pretty much we are witnessing these growing this growing resentment towards the Most High. You see, because Jake pretty much doesn't have any hope. They never was rooted and grounded, and I'm speaking of men that's like pretty much like outside this truth, But then you have individuals that were called into this truth that will pretty much meet the same fate as those individuals of non-believers. You see, so pretty much a personal testimony. This individual that I knew for a long time, pretty much we go back to day one, so to speak, and when I first came into this truth, pretty much, we under the guise of just being excited and knowing that we're Israelites, and I pretty much shared this information with him, and he pretty much gang-singed it, or whatever, but as we grow in this truth, we understand that everybody's not called. You can't save everybody. Pretty much, people are gonna be taken by their own vain opinion, so to speak. But he has been recently sending me a barrage of videos, and is really dealing with a lot of people that's so-called atheists, so to speak. You see, so pretty much, I'm gathering that that's his sentiment, because after the fact that I had mentioned it to him, he pretty much rejected it. It was never brought up again. But he pretty much knows that I'm pretty much what I'm into and what I'm dedicated to. He has that in his mind. But these are the individuals that become very dangerous in the time to come. These people that pretty much know what you're about, and pretty much, man, Satan is pretty much riding their back, so to speak. And pretty much, understand through the spirit, why these videos are being sent to me. And these are pretty much his opinions on things, and he's in agreement with these videos, and I pretty much elect not to play any video that he did show me, but I will expound upon one of the videos where you had a individual that was pretty much went to seminary school and became a pastor, and then he so-called pretty much started to think about things and reconsider, what he was into, and he pretty much no longer, wanted to be a minister anymore, and just straight up became an atheist, so to speak. You see, you got these guys here that are pretty much free thinkers. They feel like they are they are doing things of their own will, but we know that these people are just not of the elect at the end of the day. You see, but people are pretty much are confused in this world to where they're mixing religion with the Bible, and don't have any proper understanding, and the whole thing is we're not here to try to keep on trying to tell people what it is, and they can't get it, and usually for the most part though, when we pretty much come up against our people per se, it's really the guise of them just just being in Christianity, but you're having a rising up of Jakes that simply do not believe at all, you see, and don't really believe in a Most High. These people are pretty much really are, I guess he considers himself some type of pretty much a Pan-African, so to speak, thinking that everything that they do is upon their own will, and as he's just on this whole pro-black kick, black businesses and everything else, and he's prideful, to say it short, because he's been in a situation where he has never worked for anybody, and everything that he has gotten, he got it on his own, pretty much being a business owner, and pretty much into real estate in that nature, so he pretty much thinks that everything he has done is by his own means and his own means alone, but you have Jakes that are pretty much on different levels in society that pretty much still have the same sentiment, man. Okay, but pretty much, man, these people are slated for destruction, But I want to start off with scripture real quick. Hold on a second. Salakia. Because these are the people, man, that are very dangerous, man, that are around about us, man. Let alone we have to deal with these other groups that are pretty much don't have the doctrine right. But now we have to also worry about the so-called people that enter Christianity that reject this whole truth, and people that are just straight non-believers. You see, and pretty much, man, people has just lost hope in anything, man. And they're spiritual. They don't have any type of spiritual discernment at the end of the day, And let's start off with here. We'll start off with 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 1. Finally, brethren, pray for us that the word of the Most High may have free course and be glorified, even as it is with you. And we're here to pretty much continue in this truth, continue in this work, and to continue the Lord to allow us to have this word being have free course, man. And pretty much capacity the ends of the earth, man. And it says, and then the end shall come. You see, we know that this internet is pretty much doing the heavy lifting on this ministry, and it's allowing this word to have free course. You see, but the true intents of the people out there, the 2/3, are really revealing themselves, man. And that's that whole demonic spirit, that undertone of demonic spirit, man, that's really taking hold of these guys, man. And it says, and that we may be delivered from unreasonable and wicked men, for all men have not faith. And that's so true, okay? And these men are pretty much unreasonable and wicked, man. Okay? You see? All right, these are the people that are pretty much going to persecute the church, man. Okay? All of these people are pretty much, you want to say, are government agents, man, for the most part, man. They are primed to be government agents, man. Okay, so pretty much when the persecution starts, man, these guys are pretty much going to be first in line, to pretty much, get their lick in, man. Okay, against the church. You see, all right, because these men simply don't have faith, man. Okay, they are pretty much are spiritually depleted. You know, they're pretty much their critical thinking is really non-existent at the end of the day. You see, all right. So we're seeing now about we have to pretty much, keep our head on swivel, man, because at the end of the day, man, we are all we got, man. The brotherhood and the ministry, man. We all we got, man. It doesn't matter, if the people how long you knew them or family members, okay. Pretty much, man, they're gonna be destroyed, man. Okay, and this is what the Lord has rendered, and it's well ordered, man. Okay, it's well ordered. You see, all right, all right. From there, let's go to 2 John real quick. 2 John, chapter 1, verse 7. For many deceivers are entered into the world, who confess not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and the antichrist. And this is a lot of antichrists out here, man. Okay? And they pretty much are, they come in all walks of life. They come in all different types of beliefs. And I would say different types of beliefs is because, they can be into anything else but of Yahweh Bashem Arushai, man. Okay? So really, we look at them as all to be put in one basket, and they pretty much are all, against the church, man. Okay? They're against this ministry. You see? Okay? Right? It says, look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have wrought, but that we receive a full reward. We don't want to lose anything, man. We want to receive that full reward, man, because we fully know that when we, if we continue in this ministry and endure to the end, we know that there's a reward for us, man. You see, we understand that, man. People don't see any profit in anything that we do, because why? Because the Lord has not called them. The Lord has not woken them up, okay? Pretty much, people are just dealing with the hand that they're dealt with, and they just, pretty much they're going to be, pretty much a, taken, okay, by the devil, man. Anything this man comes to roll out, these people are going to be fully on board with it, man. It's because why? It's because they want to continue in the things that they have pretty much have prospered in, man. Or if any type of degree of difficulty comes to them, they want to do everything they can, okay, carnally, to get back to that so-called false glory, so to speak. To be comfortable in the society, man. To be on a certain financial level, so to speak. When this man feels like, the individual I'm speaking about, he feels like he has everything to lose. He has everything to lose. So the scriptures talk about, man, who seek to save their life shall lose it. He's an individual, that would try to do anything to maintain what he has going on, man. You see? Okay? Why? It's because he felt like this has worked for him, all his life. Okay? This man pretty much, he never worked for anybody, man. He's always been his own boss, man. So he's always had, his own way to go, man. Okay? And pretty much, man, his end is going to be death, man. But it says, whoso transgress and abideth not in the doctrine of Hamashiach had not the Most High. And he that abideth in the doctrine of the Most High, he that had both the Father and the Son, okay? And these people were not abiding in the doctrine of this truth, man. So the Spirit of the Lord is not in these people, man. Okay? They're pretty much, these people are not to be, the people, you don't want to have yourself in company with these people, man. Okay? Because their whole spirit is tainted, man. Your whole spirit is tainted, man. You know, and pretty much, man, they trust in this man's system still, man. They trust in this they trust in science. Okay, they trust in anything that this man will roll out. Meanwhile, they want to be some type of Pan-African separatist, though. But you are accepting everything that your oppressor will hand over to you, man. Okay, so you can pretty much continue with your BS and with your BS life, man. You see, okay, but they're not abiding in this type of doctrine, man. And even with the people that are in so-called in this truth, man, that abide not in this doctrine, man, they pretty much are going way off on the scriptures. You see, okay, making statements that we're going to be here like another 20, 30 years. That's not the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Abishai, man. These people are not measuring the time. And this is where you see the reprobateness, that's a word, the reprobateness of the people, man. The Lord starts to take this truth away from these people, man. And they start speaking, things that come out of their mouth, man. And it's clear, that they're in a reprobate spirit, man. Okay? So for people like Nate and these other guys that pretty much are getting picked apart left and right on a weekly basis now, okay, about the doctrine that they're coming with in these last days, and we're seeing that this man is clearly in a reprobate spirit, man. The Lord took the spirit away from this man. You see, you can clearly see it, man. But what he's leading the whole congregation, hey, and them guys that's in that congregation, man, they need to see, that something is rotten in Denver, man. And Denmark, so to speak. Something smells rotten in Denmark, man. And pretty much get away from them guys and get the hell out of that, man. And just like the apostle said, man, you don't have to come over the great millstone, though. But hey, you need to get away from that stronghold that has been overtaking you. That's going to lead you to destruction, man. You see? Okay, because a lot of these people, man, they're not thinking for themselves, man. You see? Okay, all right. From there, let's go to 1 John, because I want to think about these first, second, and third epistles of John were really good, man, because it really dealt with the magnitude of opposition, man. That we pretty much were dealing with, man. Have to deal with, man. Let's go to 1 John chapter 2 verse 22. Who is a liar but he that denieth that Yahushua is the Hamashiach, is the Messiah, man, the Savior, man. Right? He is the Antichrist that denieth the Father and the Son. Whosoever denieth the Son, the same have not the Father. But he that acknowledges the Son have the Father also. When you got people out there, like I said, that are just not believers at all, man. That they pretty much are so-called atheists, so to speak, man. They totally reject the Bible as a whole, man. And that's a more and more grown spirit that you're seeing on social media, man. Okay, these are coming from Jakes, man. With this spirit, you're supposed to have, even if you're a wicked Jake, man, you would have some type of standard as far as a belief system, man. But this is all going out the window now, man. It's non-existent. You see, okay, and pretty much, man, the guys of social media, man, these people are pretty much pretty much having those I'm not gonna say itching ears, but pretty much, man, hey, they're following these people, man, that have similar sentiment, man. You see? Okay? Because you seeing that people, like I said, the scriptures talk about, man, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar, man. Okay? And you got these people that are out there with these platforms, man, that's really pushing that whole atheist mindset, man. You see? All right. From there, let's go to 1 John chapter 2, verse 12. Right? And it says, I write unto you, little children, because your sins are forgiven you for his name's sake, man. And the scriptures speak about, man, blessed is he who is not imputed a sin, where the Lord will look upon you and don't see no sin, man. You know, and the little children pretty much is dealing with the elect, man. Okay, you see, all right. This is what John was writing, okay, to the church. You know, it says, I write unto you, fathers, because you have known him that is from the beginning. I write unto you, young men, because ye have overcome the wicked one. I write unto you, little children, because ye have known the Father. You know, and pretty much, though, the Lord always said, man, that my sheep hear my voice, and my sheep will follow me whatsoever I go of. You know, roughly paraphrasing, man. You know, that's the whole key thing there, man. You know, my sheep hear my voice. So this is how, somebody that's not of the sheep, somebody that's not of the Lord, the sheep would not follow. Okay. This is why we say that, man. People should be leaving, IUIC, that's of the elect. Just you need to get out of that, man, and they will get out of that of the elect. Because this man is going more and more off on the doctrine. Okay, and the sheep is not going to continue to follow with that, with a man with a reprobate spirit, man. You see, and it says, I have written unto you fathers, because ye have known him that is from the beginning. I have written to you, young men, because ye are strong, and the word of the Most High abideth in you, and ye have overcome the wicked one, man. We overcame the things that old man. Okay, the things that would have led us to destruction, man. Okay, totally becoming cleansed by this word, man. And totally being retaught, man, as a little child, man. And unlearning all of the BS, man, and lies that have been taught to us, man, from a little child, man. You see, it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. And these people pretty much love the world, man. Okay? And for people to pretty much sacrifice for the Lord's sake, they want to have, this pleasure, of riding in the daytime for this short period of time, man. You see? All of this stuff that's of the world, man, is surely against Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. Okay? All of these people that are out here that are getting paid millions of dollars to be influencers, their whole agenda is to turn you from your power, man. Okay? Keep you at odds with your power, not pretty much, reconcile. Okay? You see? This is the job of pretty much of the prophets, man. You see? Okay? It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world, man. And that's what many people are, man. They're pretty much a lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and then have the pride of life in this place, man. Here it is. This place is imploding from the inside out, man, and people can't see it, man. People are still trying to be comfortable here, man. When they're seeing that there is a transitioning that's going on, man. Where this man's influence is not influencing as it used to be, man. Okay, this man who was in league with the other nations. Okay, that bond is pretty much the love is fading away, man. You see, okay, and people can't see it, man. Okay, it says, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever, man. And the fashion of this world is going to pass away, as Paul spoke about, man. Yeah, I mean, you see it slip away. We see it when you look at it through a spiritual lens. We see it as it is, man. Okay? We're seeing the liberties being taken away. We're seeing how this man is going to be able to create scenarios, situational circumstances, okay? And he has laws on the books that's already going to be to where, you don't going to have no type of say. No say so, man. Your type of freedom is going to be is stripped away, man. Okay? So it's really a matter of time, man, before this man really truly totally comes from behind the curtain, and we see it through the spirit. I hear it he did, man. What he's subtly doing, you know, with these executive orders, man. Okay, you see, in the narratives that are being painted on media, man. Okay, with these networks, you see, right? It says, "Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that the Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it's the last time," man. And this is the reason, the point of this video, is that we have many Antichrists out there, man. Okay? And we know that we're in the last time because now it's being ramped up. Here it is, man. Hey, you don't believe, who you are and it's truth. Okay, fine. Go your way. But something is being roused up in them to where they're being triggered, and really, they're being triggered by, I guess, the Lord really triggering them, and it's really the last days, man. Okay, and they don't see no hope in anything, man. Okay, because they would have a lot of questions of why is this and why is that, But people are pretty much, don't humble themselves, man, to pretty much understand, man, the simple things, man. That this truth is simple, man. Okay, but it's simple to the ones that pretty much are of the potential elect, man. You see, okay, but these people are being triggered some type of way, and they're coming out the woodwork, man. Everybody got a little soapbox now to stand on and say some shit, man. Okay, to be against the Most High, man, and they're proving that, man, by their content, man. Okay, the content on their platforms, man. You see it, man. Hey, it could be somebody that could just turn on the camera and just say whatever they want to say, and that's how they feel. You see, but it's against Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua at the end of the day, man. These men pretty much think that destiny is in their own hands, man. When it's on the contrary, man. You see, this is why there's gonna be a lot of death in that time, man. Okay. It says, "They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us." And we're seeing that now where, people pretty much are showing their true, intents of the heart are being revealed, man. Okay? We're seeing that with people, the Fallout Boys, but we're also seeing how these people that are outside of the ministry are being roused up, just to be, have something to say against the Most High, man, and really pretty much are putting that final nail in their coffin, man. Okay, to pretty much condemnation, man. You see, okay. So pretty much, man, the Lord has been long suffering, man. Okay, but pretty much, man. Hey, we know we're close, man. We know that time is coming, man, and judgment is going to go out on these 2/3, man. You see, okay. All right, these mouths are pretty much going to be stopped, man. Okay, and the Lord is going to make an example. Okay, all right, out of the ones that pretty much go against him, man. And we're seeing that spirit being conjured up, man, on an all-time high level right now. But we just got to remain focused and understand. Okay, all right, we got a lot of agents around us, man. Okay, you see, that are doing the bidding of Satan, man, in any kind of way, man, just to save their own ass, man. So we have to keep that in mind and continue to press forward, man, and just do what we need to do. And the Lord pretty much is going to protect us from all these things, man. All right, so I'm going to end it there, and I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakak Wadash. Shalom.